your boy Marco from Upside Down Studios. It's motherfucking Monday with my co-host Dino the Genetic Marvel from the deep dark tundras of a 51st state, motherfucking Canada. What's up, Dino?
Oh, I mean, like, listen, I'm just waiting to get my gun. I'm like, listen, I'm all for like I'm of the opinion that regimes change. I still gonna live my life. I don't care who's in charge. You know what I care about? My family, about the roof over my head, about my land. The rest of it don't matter. So, but if the rules change, Dino's gonna have some fun.
What the problem is, though, that and nobody, I guess, on the conservative side even has thought about this. Okay, what happens? Like, we already got a slim fucking margin on the keeping our gun rates here.
Yeah.
What happens when we add a whole fucking country full of
Okay.
we can't have guns?
So this is the thing. Canada has guns. This is what I want people to understand is that we have guns. The difference is that there's a longer, frustrating, mind-numbing process to be allowed to buy guns. That's the problem. And also too, like, I think people are I don't think everyone should have a right to defend themselves. That's 100%. But also every other person should have a right to know that if you have a gun, that you're also not an insane person. Like, I feel like those two should go together. But at the same time, like, just because you committed crime, I don't think you should not be allowed to have a gun. You know what I mean? But if you're like, bro, if you're mentally unstable, yeah, you definitely shouldn't have a gun. Why? I have seen, not physically, but I have watched videos where people got into a traffic altercation that, let's be honest, if you get out of your car during traffic, you're the problem. Just an FYI. You're the problem. You shouldn't do that. Stay in your car and get the fuck out of there. Okay? But then people get overly charged because someone says, hey, you're being a cunt, as one does. And in turn, they're like, yeah, I'm going to shoot you. You're like, yeah, see, that's the problem. You can't even use your words to communicate that you're relying to violence, right? And the fact is, there's a lot of space in between vital organs in here now. There's a lot. So good luck. I can't even get to them. So best of try, I think it's one of those things. How are you, Marco? How was your weekend?
It had its ups and its downs. I did a show out at Jimmy Ward's, what was it, in Geneva, Friday night or Saturday night, and it was fucking great, great
Nice.
crowd. One of the better shows I've had.
Awesome.
Everybody was interactive. Little loud in the back because it was like a hall / and then on the bar, and then on the other side of that was the bowling alley.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a real good event. But then during that show, I got somebody called me and asked me to do just a pop-up show on Sunday, and yeah, that didn't go so well. That didn't go so well at all. And I would just like to say, before we even start on any politics or anything else that's going on over the weekend, if you feel like you want to go and disrupt the show because you feel like you got some kind of comedy in you, or you feel like you're a comedian, or people even think you're funny or whatever, take your ass up onto the stage
Yep.
at an open mic and see how you could do. I encourage you. That is not being ignorant. That's not being rude. But if you want to be some fuck piece of shit who constantly wants to interject, and this is males and females, who constantly want to interject and fuck up the show for the only fucking 10 people who are watching the goddamn thing while they threw it during a basketball game, shut the fuck up and go watch your game or go do what the fuck you're gonna do.
Yes.
That is just some fucking ignorant, non-house training, no manners having. And then look, I don't really get frustrated too much. I've been heckled. It happens.
Sure.
But to have somebody from behind you, not even heckling, just wanting to tell they jokes because the music got turned down.
Oh.
Dude, and then the dude come up to me afterward, wanted to shake my hand and say, "So what do you think? Do you think I could get up there on the mic? I'm pretty funny, huh? I'm pretty fun." Go talk to that man over there. Just go.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Like, look, and a heckle is one thing. Because then, oh, you have a problem with me? That's fine. We'll deal with that and then we'll move on. But if you keep on interjecting because I'm funny too, number one, you ain't. Number two, nobody likes you. Number three, no one is here to see you. Shut your mouth, sit the fuck down, or go home. Those are your options. I don't understand why people think I'm part of the show. No, you're definitely not. You're 100% not. You are not involved. Go sit down.
And you know what? Most of the time, and it is what it is. Most of the time, it's women because I've seen it happen a lot with women. But this older gentleman, I wanted to knock the cornrows out his head. I ain't even gonna lie. I ain't even gonna lie. It took everything. I usually try to stay and watch everybody. I ain't that dick who comes and does my set and leave. I gathered up my shit, told everybody I'm leaving. This ain't gonna be a good night. This ain't.
And you know what? That's very mature of you. Absolutely. Because in all honesty, I also like the okay. A best practice would be if you're on a show, stay for the whole show. Okay. Decency is you should stay for 2 sets after you're done. So I finished mine. I'm gonna wait for 2 and then I'm gonna fuck off. It's fine. Sometimes though, as you said, you're like, if I stay, something's gonna happen. I'm out. I'm gonna bounce. And you just and that's where you go, hey, listen, I really want to stay. I just can't. I don't think it's advisable. So I'm gonna bounce. And I let the host know, and they're like, yeah, whatever, man. That's cool.
That's all it was. I said goodbye to everybody. Because the few people who did hear what I said and was able to, enjoy their little, they all enjoyed it. They all, it was cool. And I'm sure if everybody else would have, not been watching the basketball game except for this motherfucker, dude, it just, And the only thing I heard from the back, Trump, and like the only thing close enough to that I said to even bring up Trump in my set last night is because I didn't even feel like dressing up. Those of me knows, my sets. I usually wear some kind of outfit or whatever. I kind of looked like a Mexican. I ain't even gonna lie. I was dressed in all black. I had the black fucking the skull cap on down over the eyebrows. Black sunglasses. I looked like I could have been picked. I'm not gonna lie, I was paranoid as fuck standing outside smoking a cigarette. Every van that slowed down by me, and we're right by the airport, so fucking planes it felt like Goodfellas, dude. It felt like fucking, when he's like, see that helicopter up there?
Hey, it's wintertime, everyone. Beware of ice. That's just
that's one of my jokes.
A good joke.
There was a kid over there. He started, it was a fashion show / comedy.
Yeah.
So there was a young dude up there. I forget. I feel bad. I forget his name, but I'll make sure I have it. Let everybody know. But he was making T-shirts and making hats and stuff, and he had this bright neon green shirt and hat set. It said bring back the 90s on it. So instantly I bought it. I bought that. Not only I support the people, but I was like, I had an idea for it.
Yeah.
So I put the hat on my head and I seen the few people staring at it. I just, I gave a shout out to the kid and his business. And I was like, I wore this so I can make it home safe if I get pulled over, And then I told her, I wear this hat, I'm getting deported. They're not even gonna. They ain't even looking for my papers. They ain't looking for nothing. I wear this hat and I look like a Trump supporter. I'm gonna get off.
100%.
And that's the only thing I said about Trump and that whole thing. I moved on with my set. Fuck Trump.
Oh God. Hey.
And then I stopped for a minute and I went to go do it. And
It's times like that when I feel like on stage you should be allowed to have one of those tasers that shoot, and you're like, just be like, who's doing? Okay, bam, just be like, now you know, you're an idiot.
or
It's fine.
just like one of them. I remember back in the day, it was an American Gladiators where they had that high power, but it was like a sponge.
The tennis
ball.
balls? No. They were fucking tennis balls, bro. And they're like, tunk, tunk.
Yeah.
Bro.
Non-lethal, bah, right in the fucking forehead.
Like, this is the thing is like, okay, you remember American Gladiator. Do you remember when it came back and Gina Carano was on there and you're like, she's so hot, right? It was fantastic. But like, I don't understand why people aren't all for that. Like, that should be a huge thing that, like, yeah, everyone, if you wanna really have an argument, good, challenge somebody to that. Because I'm telling you, neither of you are gonna win. And after you're going, it's not that big of a deal. It's fine. Just I'm gonna go sleep now. Let's maybe a massage. That's not, yeah. Come on. It's I think like I don't understand why people are like, I'm part of the show. You're like, you ain't. It's the same. It's the same issue I have with concerts. I'm like, I love music. I love music concerts. I do not like people who like music concerts because they sing along. And I didn't pay to hear your raspy ass shit voice. I paid to hear the fancy man who's on stage. Shut up. You can hum. You can hum, maybe even whistle to yourself. Okay? Nobody else.
I'm not gonna lie. I finally found somebody else who feels the same goddamn way that I don't know how many concerts I've been to. The people that I'm with. Shut the fuck up! You know how much money I paid for these tickets? I even paid for us to get upgraded. Shut the fuck up!
Yeah. You can like I don't understand this whole thing where people are like, I have to sing along. No, you don't. You can do that in your car by yourself. You could do it in the shower, and you know what? Nobody's gonna judge you. But if you do it in front of everybody, number one, we might drop you.
Karaoke bars for that.
Karaoke bar. It's an entire industry, people. There's entire countries based on their entire entertainment is based on karaoke, okay? Just like I don't understand why you're like, why do you have to come and ruin my experience? Go have your own experience. Enjoy. This is it's yeah, no, I can't. I don't like people who are exclusively concert people because they just ruin everything. I'm part of the show. You're not. Dude, go home.
When we used to throw the shows or when we used to host like the big festivals and shit, even those, you know, I did, you know, a lot of the filming. I did a lot of the interviewing. While the music was going, you know, I made sure I did my job. Yeah. And when it was done, you know, and everybody wanted to party afterward. Yeah, might have a few drinks here and there, smoke a little bit. Even back when I used to do blow, you know, there was a cutoff time. That's it. Yeah. That's it. Don't fuck with me. I don't want to hear your bullshit. I don't want to know about the next keg or the next line or the next blunt. Look, this is done. This is fucking done.
There's and you know what? I think that's like the whole idea behind why people like, listen, during the show, that's the show. Afterward, we're not friends. Just you can, hey, great show and move along. You don't have to stay and be like, hey, maybe I can do some jokes. Just calm down. Just don't be like that. Okay. Go do your own thing. There's no, it's very peculiar because I don't understand where people got that. I remember going to a show. It was Jack Whitehall, and it was a festival. It was a Just for Laughs thing, and this lady started talking. She was in like one of the first, like the up to second or third row, and she started talking with him. And he's like, "Hey, do you know we're having a show right now? Right? Like, you're not. This isn't a conversation type thing." And then he's like, and she's like, oh, "Okay," and he's like, "Okay," and she keeps going. She keeps talking, and he goes, ma'am, do you not understand that this is a show? We're not having a conversation for everybody to watch. That's not what everyone's here for. And then he looks to the back of the room. He's like, anybody? And sure enough, two security guards come down and be like, and she's like, oh, and they're like, you'll be kicked out if you keep talking. Those are your options. And he's like, okay, just zip it. Dude, you've had too much white wine, madam. Just calm down, okay?
You know how many times that happens from the owners? Dude, man, I was putting on a show with Ryan. I was hosting one of Ryan's shows.
All right.
Um,
Mistake number one.
we had a pretty nice spot. It was called Club 17 out in Cleveland.
Nice. Okay.
And I'm not degrading the owners or whatever. But I'm just being Puerto Rican. I know how the culture is, so that's just how they are. But you know, I'm doing a show, and this one kid come in. I think he came in from Minneapolis or whatever.
Cool.
Like, and you could tell he was nervous, but he was I mean, he came to do his job.
Yeah.
And you know, again, you heckle me or whatever. Once I get sick of it, something's gonna happen. I'm gonna either make a fool out of you, or we're gonna throw hands or whatever. But you know, me being a host, that's something totally different. But I will not let you fuck up one of my comedians' fucking set.
No.
And dude, like it started off with this like we started the show. This group of Puerto Rican girls came in and they sat at the table, and in the middle of his set, the kid said, why don't you shut the fuck up and put the music back on? Okay. And then you can tell that started bothering them, and they kept on, man, I grabbed that mic from that boy. Oh, hey, our ladies was looking real nice. You see, you got your eyelashes did and everything. You know what that was made for. It was to keep the fucking cum out of your eyes. Anybody need a blowjob? There's 3 fucking whores sitting right here. Dude, I just snap. Just fucking snap.
Sorry. Hey, trust the science. That's what they're there for. They're called cum catchers. So
the bad thing was they fucking leave. Maybe about an hour later, you hear damn near the same voices because it all sounds the same. And it's coming from the far corner, and it's getting louder and louder and louder. And finally, I noticed it's the fucking bar owner and her sister. Bitch, we're putting this show on for you.
It's yes.
So I got up off there, I walked down around, and I stood right behind them while they're just gabbing back and forth. And I just started speaking Spanish. Basically, I was like, you do know I speak Spanish too, right? You do know we're putting on this show for you, right? Yeah. Can you shut the fuck up, bitch? I was like,
it's your establishment, fair, but be mindful because you're as the one whose establishment it is, you're the ultimate host. You're the host of all the hosts.
Right.
So if you're not being hospitable, which is where the term host comes from, okay? If you're not a hospitable host, you understand how that will turn around and just make you a shitty person and a shitty place to hang out. So nobody's going to come, right? Why would you ruin your own I don't understand people. I just don't. I don't know. Bro, I'm Greek. I'm loud as fuck. Okay? But even I know what not to be a piece of shit.
There's no home trade. Well, I mean, again, being the Puerto Rican culture, if you go to any of that shit, I mean,
yeah,
it's like that. But still,
it's loud as fuck.
You know, you're again, you have an establishment. This is your, I mean, man, it just irks my soul, dude.
Because
anyway,
go ahead.
Through the whole show off track, I just noticed something that just popped up on my news thing. And being that it's Black History Month, I will give this out, you know, the props here. Apparently, the singer Roberta Flack, she has passed away at age 88. She's mostly known for Killing Me Softly, and you know, a whole bunch of other songs, but that's like some old school Motown and stuff. That's like shit I was brought up on, like before they started remixing and throwing the Fugees to it and all that shit.
It's a beautiful song. It's a very romantic song.
She had a beautiful voice, dude.
Sure. And she's not as much of a horrible person as Lauryn Hill, who is a horrible person.
Terrible.
She's a terrible person. Hey, she's great voice, terrible person. Which you're like, and apparently Wyclef Jean works for the Chinese government. What happened? I don't understand what happened to music, bro.
Dude, there was all kind of, you see, there was before the whole everything else popped out, the singers that were all fucking pretty much being paid off by other governments and shit. They were flying them back and forth. I think Leo DiCaprio was supposed to fucking testify against somebody.
Bro, Well, you heard that Sean Penn apparently when he went to deliver the Oscar to Zelensky, which you're like, that's a little on point.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, he was paid like $5 million to do that, which you're like, number one, Sean Penn isn't relevant anymore. He
Yeah.
looks like he's got a scrotum for a face. Why is this person important? Okay. And they're like, well, he's done great work. Have you seen I Am Sam? The only reason I watched I Am Sam, I'll tell you right now, okay, is for when he turns the corner and gets a face full of fucking cake. That is peak cinema, just so everyone understands, okay?
The only
That is
movie
committed to the bit.
I feel like Sean Penn lost his relevancy back when after he did that fucking movie with Madonna.
He did a
Remember?
movie with Madonna?
Or she did the video for that movie. It was that Hope I Live to Tell something or
Like
whatever.
Milk? No, I don't know. I don't know. Like, this is the thing is Sean Penn. You're like, Sean Penn hasn't been relevant in 20 years. Okay.
Yeah,
He was barely relevant when I was a teenager. So, like, what are we doing here? You're giving him $5 million, bro. Just use the post office. Just send it to the guy. You don't need it hand delivered. It's the self-importance of half of these industries. Like, look, CEOs are going everywhere, going how important they are. Yet statistics proven it actually doesn't matter what CEO you have. That doesn't change your profitability. It's what you do, who you have hired. Those are the things that matters. So,
Right.
you know, people going, I'm important. You're definitely not
doing dick to begin with. You know, they're just sitting back and getting their money.
It's the same thing when someone goes, I'm in charge here. You're like, who are you letting know? I don't understand. You know, CEOs are very important. Are you a CEO? Yes. You don't get to make that judgment. That's like someone who walks into a place, goes, I'm the best looking person here. Probably not. It's FYI. Right? It's just, let's be honest.
So
yeah.
Speaking of some news.
I do love the news.
Did you apparently Letitia James, that attorney general from fucking New York that fined Trump billions and billions of dollars or whatever. She was the one who was coming in, I guess, the barefooted and all that shit. Well, now they're suing Elon Musk for going into their data and breach of privacy and all this other stuff. And I I need your input, but before any of that, you motherfuckers went nuts when they stopped TikTok over stealing your fucking data and privacy. Yeah. What the fuck are you, like, he wants your fucking $100 in your bank account, right, bitch? Really? This is Elon fucking Musk. This might as well be Bruce Wayne or Iron Man. Who the fuck are you, stank foot bitch?
I mean, that really consolidates what we need to communicate. Like, that's efficient. I appreciate that. But like, the best part is that the same people who are like, I'm going to sue you for taking my data, not even taking it, just for being given access to my data, I'm going to sue you. Okay. Greg's comment is top tier. But it's like the idea, it's like, I'm going to sue you because someone gave you access to my data, are the same people who are like, oh, you're going to ban TikTok? Good. I'm going to go to Red Note, which is directly from the Chinese government. You're like, do you not hear yourself talk? Like, do you not understand the words coming out of your own mouth? Because none of us do. I'll just flat out.
Not even close. Not even like.
I just don't understand why. Why are you so adamant that he can't have it? Why are you against people of African descent? Is that why? Is it because you're racist? Are you the best part is that you're like, I'm sorry, if he was born in Africa, you're hating him because of the color of his skin? That's a little bit alarming, don't you think? And hey, the amount of people who are like, no, and you're like, I'm pretty sure, like, he can't be African. Well, he was born in Africa. That makes him African. Just like what's his face? The basketball player. He was born in Greece. This makes him Greek. He speaks Greek. He went to Greek schools. He is a Greek man. he is a little bit enjoyable in the summer. That's okay. That's fine. Okay, he doesn't have to use as much sunscreen. It's no problem.
I thought about this a while ago. Well, actually, I was thinking about it the other day too. Um, what do like I know there's black folks in Canada,
Yeah.
but they're not
Yeah,
African.
yeah. They're some of them are still retarded. Yeah. Sorry?
Are they considered African Canadian?
So this is the funny thing is because they'll try and do that and everyone goes, "Hey, why are you stupid?" And they're like, "What?" They're like, "You're just Canadian. You were born here. You've never been to Africa." Like I know, I have friends from my childhood. It's my one of my older brother's best friends whose parents migrated from Ghana. They speak Ghanaian, I think it's called, but it's like they've been back, they have family. You're like, yeah, those guys would be. I would call them African Canadian, sure, but other people, you're like, bro, you haven't left the country because nobody will give you a passport because you're a bad person. You're not African. You're just a piece of shit. You're barely Canadian because you're rude. So remember, a Canadian. This is well. Look, I have to explain to people. I'm like, Canadians aren't nice. We're polite. We'll punch you in the face, break your nose, and then say sorry. That's how we roll. We're polite, not nice.
Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, sorry, buddy. That's how it works. I'm sorry, buddy. It's, those. That's what people don't understand. And listen, if a Canadian tosses you food in times of war, run. Just that's the rule. Okay, there's the reason it's in the Geneva Convention. It's just yeah. If a Canadian tosses you food during times of war, run. That's just words to live by. Just facts.
So, something I noticed it's not getting very much news. That's been happening over the weekend. It looks like, I mean, it hasn't been said outright, but it looks like there has been agreement, at least with Trump and Putin, to stop the whole war thing.
Yeah. Zelensky wasn't even invited to the conversation. I love it.
Is fucking whining that he doesn't like the negotiation terms. He doesn't like this. Pretty much Zelensky doesn't like that he's about to lose his fucking gravy train. To the point where he's pretty much got the Brits talking about putting boots on the ground. Because at this point, it seems like either you're gonna fucking do what you're told, like always. I don't know where you got, Biden then gave him these fucking golden panties to wear, and he's been flaunting them every fucking dude. You're nobody. You're a fucking comedian who made it to the presidency. Be happy in that. Now you're trying to keep a hold of it like you're somebody. And I mean, in all honesty, I mean, even coming from another country, we all know. Yeah. We all know if Putin wants you gone, you're gone. Especially fucking Zelensky.
Look, in his defense, if I had gold panties, I'd wear them on special occasions too. That's fine. It's not a reason, I'm not knocking him for that. It's more so that it's not for every day, bro. It's not. And he's acting as if he's some sort of martyr when you're like, bro, they gave you an Oscar for your acting. Isn't that weird? That's a weird thing. You're like, when have you ever seen any politician get an Oscar? So let's calm down. And also, too, you weren't involved in the negotiations because it's a proxy war. You're just the land that was chosen to be worn on. That's all. Okay. And also, too, listen, we're part of the Commonwealth. Okay. That means we still obey the king. Now, that being said, Britain needs to understand that you're our younger, dumber sister, maybe our older sister, who goes out talking her whore mouth and then goes, I'm going to call my brothers. And then we have to clean up your shit. So you need to calm the fuck down because at no point in history has the UK said we could take Russia because Russia goes, make me sandwich, bitch. That's what happens. That's how Russia responds to the UK. The difference is when Canada and the US get involved, they go, hey, maybe we have some coffee, maybe some vodka. Let's just have a chit chat before we go too far. Why? Because we're all monsters. That's the difference, right? It's the same thing like China go, I want to be involved. Shut up. Just shut up. Sit down. Okay? It's not about that. I feel like people don't realize how important. Like, ask any veteran who's not crazy if they would go back to war, and they'll stand there going, "No, it's horrible. It's very taxing on every level of existence. It'll affect your wake. It'll affect your sleep. It'll affect your eating. It affects your everything,
dude.
It does 100% changes your soul. And you know what? For some people, they can't get out, and that's horrible. Because look, that's the one biggest thing that I have a problem with. That people say, like, I know, like I've talked to Joey about this, about veteran affairs and stuff like that. And he's like, no, there are stuff available. A lot of people just love to complain, which I'm like, that's fine. And some people don't get the help they need. I will agree with that too. But the idea that veterans are running around because they need help and ending up homeless, that's a problem. It's very. So the fact that that's not like there, it seems, okay, on first looks, it seems that the new administration is also not okay with that. But they also want to make sure that everyone's not just sitting around doing nothing. Okay. So I already heard from somebody who's like, hey, I just got an email from Elon asking to fill out a survey. So apparently all government employees got a survey of, what do you do? What is your title? What did you do last week? And I'm like, oh, it looks like somebody's got to make themselves productive again.
Yeah, and that's it drives me nuts. Like, I just got into a, we'll just say, heated debate with a buddy of mine because of the whole posting of how Elon Musk found millions of. First of all, I was wrong in the beginning of it because the way I read into it at first, there was not millions of deceased people on the roster. There was millions of dollars found that was given out to deceased people or people who are 150 plus years old or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, it's not like that. It's like, no, I was wrong. There is millions of fucking people from 100 over to, like, and they break it down by, I think, 40s or 50s. Like, it's 100 to 150. And then it goes 150 to 100, like 60 or 70. Yeah. And there are, and what they said was one of the excuses that's coming out of the Social Security administration, or the guy who said that, the guy who just stepped down, who used to run it or whatever, or I guess they fired him or whatever happened to the motherfucker. But he said Elon Musk doesn't know what he's talking about. Right. He claims that it would have cost more money to fix all this than to just let it slide.
Isn't that weird?
And then, you know, the friend of mine keeps saying, you know, they're taking your Social Security. Nobody is taking nobody's Social Security. First of all, you know, how old are you? Just to make sure we're in the same range. I'm 47. All right, cool. Yeah. So we're in the same range. We were told here, from the past 5 minutes, Obama, Trump, Bush, from about the last 5 administrations, that our generation, my generation, was never going to see Social Security. We'll pay into it, but it was going to be gone, especially if we keep dealing out all these entitlements.
Yeah.
So that right there, fucking be happy if you get some kind of Social Security. Yeah. You know, because that ain't got nothing to do with Trump. It ain't got nothing to do. Everybody done blew their load in the Social Security bucket.
Yeah.
So, I mean, right there. Second of all, unless you're a dead person or you're 370 years fucking old, you ain't got to worry about the goddamn Social Security.
Hey, I just don't understand why we're paying vampires Social Security. They can still work. They're in good shape. It's fine. If you're 300-year-olds, you're either a Frankenstein, vampire, maybe a mummy, but you can get a good job. That's fine. You can look. They're hiring people for weather control. They're hiring people for construction, and also for culling the herd. Like, those are good jobs. Those pay well. I don't understand what the problem is. I don't get it. I don't understand. By the way, so the last few weeks, I showed you guys the US debt clock, and I wanted to update you now that the Doge clock, which is the only clock that's going in reverse, just okay, It's up to $132 billion, which if you have a problem with Elon Musk and the Doge department figuring out where money is being wasted, you're part of the problem. Just an FYI. It's you're part of the problem. And I'll see you in fucking hell. With binoculars, because I ain't gonna be there, bitch.
And that's another thing. I guess a big issue or a big talking point that's been over the weekend. Is these checks, because now all of a sudden, everybody's worried about these $5,000 checks that has been flaunted about. Talks about this and that. First of all, stop. It was supposed to be $8,000 when the idea first came up.
Yep.
But of course, some Democrat had to stick their penis in the whole works, and now it's down to $5,000. And they're just talking about it. It's a good possibility, although there's a lot of skeptics, because, and I will tell you the reason why, and I'm glad Dino brought that up. The skepticism is they're looking to try. I forget how they're calculating the numbers, but in order for everybody to get $5,000, they have to find at least $22 trillion in fraud. And through those, which, if you look at the clock that fucking Dino just told you about, that is not a fucking, that's not hard to come by. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. I think maybe June. I would say June-ish, and it'll come up. But yeah, it's a possibility. So, I mean, and the fact that all of a sudden, Trump's, all you haters, all you fucking people who are whining about him being in your business, you guys is expecting that motherfucking check, ain't you? You gonna take that check? There's a little paper on the IRS paper that says you can give your taxes back. You gonna get that check back? No.
Hey, so this is the funny thing is, okay, just to put it in understanding. So I used to be a financial planner in my previous life, and that's a real job. So for you guys, I would have been a fiduciary, which is like, bro, you could sue me if I did something wrong. Like I was very, I had accreditation, everything. It was a real job. Now, that being said, okay, when they did a press conference about this, they explained their goal was, so they need to find at least $1 trillion. Their goal is $1 trillion for this year to find. Okay, they're going to keep going, and then they said we're going to do 20% to give back the people their own money. 20% is going to be funneled into debt repayment. Okay, and the remaining 60, and then everyone goes, well, what are you spending the remaining 60 on? And they're like, you don't understand. This isn't money that we are spending. This is money that we're on the hook for. So by cutting that, we're reallocating 40%, and then the 60% we're going to use to not spend, as in not punish the people with extra money burden. And you should have seen all the reporters going, yeah, but where is it going to go? No, it doesn't exist. The money that they're finding, they're going, oh, we're just turning off that. What you have is an entire system of drain pipes. Okay, that's what the government runs on. It's all drain pipes, and every drain pipe you find in the whole world of government is leaking. Every single one. Okay, what these guys are doing is they're going and changing washers. That's their only job. We're changing washers on everything. And you know what? If we find a hole, patching it up. And people are like, no, I want my draining water. Okay, you still have water. Water's still there. If anything,
better pressure on the other end.
You're getting better pressure, people. Jesus, do you not understand? Like the idea that people are standing there going, yeah, but that's our money. No. What they're saying is we're making it so it stays in the pipes for usage. And that's why they're like, that's how we're combating inflation as well, because we don't want that. We want profitability of the U.S. economy. Right now, the U.S. economy is not profitable, and it should be. Okay, right. But it's hobbling along, and if anything, its debt is out of control. Ooh, I probably shouldn't have made that gesture. Sorry, it's going up. It's going up. Okay, it's not a steady stream going like this. It's like this. God, I'm gonna get canceled. That's fine.
It happens sometimes.
I mean, such is life. That's
So how about there's another thing that happened over the weekend, the UPMC shooting down in PA. You hear about
yeah, that's fucking scary, bro.
You know what's weird? What's
Tell
really
me.
weird? All right, so when I first saw it, at first glance, I thought it said New York, and I made a post about it because I thought, fuck, New York City, now the fucking illegals are fucking shooting up the goddamn hospitals. That was a bad thing for me to say. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but now it's the damn illegals shooting up the PA hospitals. But at first, the weird thing is when I finally got there was a dude who had boots on the ground, an independent dude, JLR investigates. If anybody want to check him out,
Nice.
but it's usually he goes to wherever and he's on the streets and asking whoever whatever, just real shit like a regular person.
Yeah.
But the name that they gave first was some David J. Let me see if I can find it on my Facebook. I had it posted because the name I have on there is wrong now.
That's peculiar.
Yeah, because it started off with this really, really Caucasian-y sounding name. We'll just say it like that.
It was Bill Billiamson. That's the white. Hey, that's officially the whitest name I know.
It was James something.
Yeah, James Jameson, like
right.
from Spider-Man. Yeah.
This is the first name that came out,
All
and
right.
this was a name that was given by one of the officers that were on the scene.
All right.
John David Ramsey.
Sounds like an assassinist. That's fine.
Okay, I agree.
Yeah. Three names.
Sounds to me like some entitled white kid didn't get the service he wanted, and he pulled a Mangione. So now
Luigi Mangione is a hero in this house, sir. How dare you?
So now something started seeming odd as the coverage went on.
Yeah.
About this whole thing, because all of a sudden, governors don't show up to school shootings and shit like that, but all of a sudden the PA governor was on it. He was on his way there like hours after, not even hours after fucking shit happened.
That's
and
odd.
other different authorities were showing up that wasn't really, I guess 2 cops got shot and maybe 4 people. The original report said something about a loved one died, and then another one said that a loved one got misdiagnosed or whatever in the hospital and or whatever, some shit like that. That was the whole reasonings for the shooting up. Then now, this is a few days later. The name of the shooter is Diogenes, Diogenes.
Diogenes, yeah.
Yeah,
That's a Greek name.
Archangel Ortiz. And this man walked in to the fucking hospital with a plastic bag with the gun in it and went in and started dumping.
Okay, hold on. Let's just decompress this for a second.
That shit.
Diogenes is a Greek name. That's fine. Well, I think it may fall under like Catholics would probably use that. So like they would name like I have a friend whose name is Scholastica. Why? Because it's a saint's name. Like it's just she goes by that doesn't regardless. But so like that's fine. But then the second name is Archangel, and the last name is Ortiz. Now, Marco, correct me if I'm wrong. Ortiz, not really a traditional Bill Billiamson type name. That's not a. It's not really. It's a little foreign. That's odd.
Smells of maize.
Maize. I mean, it's a little bit. So, interesting.
Yeah. Kind of odd.
Do we know his let's see, how do we say this politely? Do we know his familial history? Is he a family man? Is he does he come from a line of hardworking Americans in America?
I don't know if they're American.
Allegedly. Let's allegedly.
I couldn't look it up because I couldn't even pronounce the fucking name.
He got stopped after 5 letters, baby. That's just whoa. That's
I've seen Dio. I was like, Dino?
no. I have an alibi. I'm good. I'm good. That's I gotta hold on now. You know what? It's really funny that you said you were spelling the name and you're like Dio Genie, and I'm like, oh, Diogenes, and then I typed it because I'm like, I can spell that. That's no problem. It's Greek.
I feel like that's something like a level, 2 levels up from androgynous.
Similar origin. It's
Greek.
Angel Ortiz.
Yeah, there's a hyphen in between the Ortiz too. Somebody was entitled.
Oh, and he was just the first article is the first article I see is from the trusted American news publication Hindustan Times, and it's fine.
Bad thing is they fucking know more of our news than we do.
Oh, hey, but I've known that. Okay, you know what? So years ago, we're talking about probably 2003. I moved in with my ex-wife back into my parents' house, and I was like, I like having a DVR, the digital video recorder, because that was the times. That was peak cable. So I got it for my parents, and I also got them. There were 2 options for Greek channels because I'm like, my parents are Greek, they want Greek news. So I'm like, you could get a Canadian-based Greek relay or direct feed of Greek news. And I was like, I'll get the direct feed from Greece.
Right.
So the news, and remember, this is early 2000s, so there was a lot going on in foreign news.
Yeah.
And the difference was because it was a direct feed from Greece, the visual documentation that they received was a stark difference from what was being publicized on our own media. And that, since then, I've always known is if you want to know what the news about your country is, check foreign news, because they won't report on their country, they report on your country. And it's the same thing is if you want to know about the other country, go to their worst enemy and you'll find out everything. So it's one of those things. But yeah, apparently Mr. Archangel Ortiz was just he was had let me see what the quote is. He was simply broken. That is the line that they're saying. He was simply broken. I mean, like,
somebody went to college in America.
Got
that literature class in.
Oh, listen, he was 49 years old, also a novelist. He was simply broken after discovering that a loved one had passed away in the intensive care unit. This isn't news. This is some guy lost his shit and did something bad. This is where I really, really despise news media, because they're making a personal not fallout, but a personal situation that went horribly wrong. They're making it into a political statement. You're like, no, man, this guy lost someone really important in his life, and he snapped. That shit is horrible. And you know what? It's just a testament why we need more consideration that the physical is important and the mental health is also important.
But I see the way the last report that I seen, I can't even say the way it's being reported because constantly shit is changing. But the last report I seen, like I said, this dude came in with the motherfucking bag in his bag. Now, I could understand snapping at that moment. If you were there, you saw your loved one die, you just this and that. But to go home or to even go to the parking lot and get your car, put it in a bag and just go in and say, I'm just going to start shooting random people. Yeah, I'm sorry for your loss, bro, but you're a piece of shit. Fuck you.
Sure.
Does
Yeah.
it say anything about his status or anything?
So it seems like he's just a man with an unfortunate name, but they actually interviewed the doctor that gave him the news, and he's like, I was there when we delivered the worst news imaginable to him, that his loved one was gone. But he's
Who
like,
was the loved one? I want to know who the loved one is.
I'm still reading, but he goes, I spoke with him, with the very man who did this act, interacting with him for multiple days. And he said, he goes, in that moment, I truly did not see a monster. He was simply broken, which, like, so I look, you and I are different people, right? Like, and I mean different from everybody else, because we're crazy, but in like that's entertaining as opposed to ring type situation. So not that we're against that part, but we're like, there's time. We don't have to do that first. We could just, So it turns out that this guy just kind of lost his mind. But I'm trying to read through. According to him, they developed a human connection as he showed pictures of loved ones, engagement gift, and Mendoza further stated that he would have never anticipated or thought of him committing something like this. The doctor, however, shows that loneliness, weariness. It seems like it was his significant other, I think. It seems like it's either their child or their spouse. It comes after prosecution knowledge that the defendant seemed to have contacted the intensive care unit for a medical purpose involving another person, but they refrained from providing any. It's not news. This is a horrible thing. Not news. Privacy news. They have refused to reveal the relationship with the individual that passed.
All right, so I feel like that this is either a gay relationship.
Oh,
like it's either that or somebody was cheating on somebody, and this was, they had a relationship, and somebody don't want somebody's husband or wife to know about it. So, maybe that was the husband, and the lady was in there for fucking around or whatever, or maybe the whoever was. I mean, I would kind of think, because they're kind of being shady about that, because really, like you said, it's not really news. So why would they be trying to make it news? What if that was maybe his gay lover or whatever other fucking letter you want to pick from the fucking squad?
Just goes by the plus sign, like Prince.
Just maybe.
Yeah, no, it seems like this is a horrible thing that happened and is not new. Like, this is like, it's kind of one of those things where, and let's be honest, I think there's this time in history, we enjoy people's falling apart at the seams, right? Like, everyone watching a hero fall is way more entertaining than watching a hero succeed. That's where we're at and I don't know if that's a society thing or if that's just always how it's been, but people love watching a hero fall. And I don't know. I like, for me, I'm more so that I see some people who are successful. I'm like, that person's dodgy. Don't trust them. And people are like, what are you talking about? And then sure enough, like 5-6 years later, they're like, oh, apparently they were a serial rapist. And you're like, you can see it. You can, if you know how to judge character, you can look at somebody and like, listen, you see Jeffrey Epstein's face and you're going, that's not a good person. That's not.
Dude, if you see even his young pictures, that he looks like a creep, dude.
That guy's a creep. And the worst part is people are like, oh, he looks so good. And I'm like, no, he looks suspicious. In every picture, he looks suspicious. So, it's, and also, Ghislaine had hair shorter than her spouse.
Yeah.
Suspicious. Yeah. Immediately suspicious.
So did you hear anything about this? What was it, Jane Fonda? I've seen a couple of the news. I can't stand that chick, so I didn't watch anything that she had going on, but I hear she started running her cocksucker at one of the award ceremonies.
Oh, well, so everything that I've seen has been where for years, especially, she's been shitting on Trump and the other side, as in, oh, we gotta fight him and everything. And now she's like, we need peaceful ways to do things. We should come together as peaceful people. And you're going, bitch, you said violence. Now it's towards you, and you're like, no, not me. You're not that great of an actor. Let's calm down.
See, I heard they started fucking with her sound too.
I wouldn't be surprised.
The acceptance speech derailed with sound issues.
Yeah, you know why? Because
Nobody wants to hear her bullshit.
well, the left is a bloodthirsty mob of incompetent they thems. That's what they are. Sorry. And they're you have to understand. No, I don't. I don't have to understand anything. Just because you're a bad person, every time that they've tried to make an exception to something, it's because they just don't want you to focus on the shitty things they do to everybody. Right? You can't show me a politician that's making $150,000 a year, which is insane. They should not be making that much money. And then their income, their personal wealth has grown $30 million over 4 years. And you're going to say, oh, but they're good people. No, they're not. Yeah. Math don't lie. And the math says corrupt. So sorry.
That's it, man. I mean,
I'm sorry. Nancy Pelosi is outperforming Warren Buffett and the Nas and like every stock exchange in the universe. And they're like, yeah, it's because she's a astute politician. You're like, bro, she can't put a sentence together without going blank. She's Mitch McConnell part 2. What are you talking about?
Well, see, you have to, do you ever notice she sounds just like Ronald Reagan? Like her voice, she has Ronald Reagan's voice. Well, you see, he's an evil man.
Like, yeah.
And don't worry about my husband being butt naked with the guy with the hammer.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, that's not relevant. You're like, pretty relevant. I think it's excessively relevant, actually.
I guess the last thing we'll finish up on, because I got 2 things. One, I have to ask, and I feel like an idiot because I don't know, or I don't think I really cared enough, but I see his name enough now. So, who the fuck is Mr. Beast?
Okay, so he's another guy. Sketchy. He's not on the up and up. Hey, I've said it. Things came out and people are like, no, it wasn't him. It was his friend, his close friend. Okay. Hey, just so you know, okay. Watch this. If you overheard your girl talking to her girl and lying for her to her girl's man,
your bitch.
What would? Thank you very much. Right? You can't lie for someone else to save them and then say, "Oh, but I'm innocent." No, you're not. No, you're not. You're the problem too. Your morals and their morals are exactly the same, non-existent. Right. So, in turn, Mr. Beast is, I think he's the biggest on YouTube. He's number 1. But his whole thing is that he reinvests everything into his stuff. But he plays games, contests, just gives people money and stuff like that. So now there's now I'll tell you this much. If you click, I've clicked on one video and then I had 6 fucking months of my algorithm be flooded with Mr. Beast, which I'm like, absolutely the fuck not. No, thank you. And so his thing is, he's like, well, he's a little bit autistic kind of thing. So he focuses on the nuts and bolts of how it works. And so him and his friends would kind of invest all their time from when they were very young, like as soon as YouTube started, into figuring out how to become famous on that. And it has worked. And now he did his own Squid Games, very profitable. Did a Squid Games for now he's doing a game show on Prime. It is very entertaining. And he's giving away millions of dollars. Awesome. However, just like anyone who's that profitable, sketchy as fuck. So it's I don't know if it's him or the people around him, but there's an issue. And he's also, you look at him and you're like, oh, that's not a trustworthy face. Just like you look at his face, he's got a little facial hair. When he didn't have facial hair, still looks untrustworthy. And you're going, that's weird. It's a weird thing, but
the new the article I just passed by, it said that I guess that new show on Prime.
Yeah,
he said it was the worst idea he ever had.
Really,
tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. if you so we've been watching it, and I think there's a new episode now. Oh no, it just finished. They decided on the winner last week, but like they ended up when you see some of the people and their rationale for how to this, and the amount of people who are like, praise Jesus, 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 give me my minutes about praise Jesus, and you're like, yeah, that's not how that works. Just an FYI. It when you like a charlatan, when you outwardly try and I put Jesus first in my life, and then you cheat on somebody or you lie to them and do things like that, you're a charlatan, right? So there was quite a few people who were like, I trust in Jesus. And then of course you had other people going, they're not picking any women. There aren't any women in this. And you're going, well, yeah, that they can pick whoever they want. So whatever. And it was a whole thing. And people were like, women aren't being represented. And you're like, okay, that's fine. Like that's your choice. And even Mr. Beast, one of his friends was trans. I think they've been ousted because they came out as trans, and then his whole family kind of fell apart. This guy, because he like abandoned his family because he's like, well, I'm trans now, and it seems like now that guy has been pushed out, or at least pushed into the background. But the weird thing is that all of these guys, you look at them and you're like, not a specimen amongst them, not in any way, shape, or form. You're like, they're smart, it's fine. But they're just five guys that are like, yeah, okay, let's figure out the end. Great, okay, cool. But there's no, like, these guys can't look you dead in the eye and tell you go fuck yourself. You're like, they don't.
It was like a Bankman Fried type deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kid that nobody talks about that got all that Bitcoin money. It was like 5 kids, and that one chick who looks like James Brown is still defending him.
Yeah, he was a hero, and you're like, no, he's going to jail.
Supposedly he's in prison in Jamaica
at Club Fed.
I wouldn't want to be in a Jamaican jail, but I'm sure he's not in a Jamaican jail.
Yeah, he's at Club Fed, just chilling out, having some Mai Tais. It's fine, whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, I
can't wait till Elon finds that shit. Oh God! Because they dip into the fucking Bitcoin.
The amount well, do you remember how they're like Bitcoin is untraceable? And you're like, okay. Yeah. And then somebody did something wrong and they're like, the government has found out a way to trace Bitcoin. And you're like, so it's traceable. Oh, it always has been traceable. You were just lying, saying it's untraceable. They're like, correct, but it's untraceable. You're like, well, no, you just said
like the vaccine stops it.
Stops it dead in its and if anything, you who aren't getting vaccinated, you don't deserve anything. You should just die in the streets. Funny, I feel better than ever, Marco. I don't know how that I was under the impression if I didn't get the vaccine that I was gonna be number one, probably burst into flames, if not struck down from Jesus himself. For my and like I'm like, people are like, you must hate your family, and you're going, I don't think that's how vaccines work. Because I've gotten a tetanus shot and I got a polio shot. I didn't have a problem with those.
Yeah, I don't feel Polish or nothing.
I mean, which is definitely what the polio shot is about, everyone.
All right, so I guess here is the new news. This is the new thing. I'm sure, it's going to be hitting. That's Cole. It's probably going to be hitting TikTok here real soon. Now Luigi Mangione is the new fashion icon or whatever. What are they calling it? His loafers outfit and ankles. So basically, his cheap shoes with no socks, and his little entitled kind of Harvardish looking. So that's going to be the new thing. Now we're going to see a bunch of these fucks walking around with the over sweater like Step Brothers.
So today I saw a video. I'll send it to you afterward. And it was a woman confronting her husband with a candle. And you know the candles I'm talking about, the ones with faces on them. And it was Luigi Mangione, like this on the candle. And the guy's like, she's like, hey, I thought you said you weren't Catholic anymore. He's like, that's the patron saint of healthcare. And top tier entertainment, top tier. So, hey, you know what? If anything, even they've already gone on publicly to be like, oh, so what's his face? The mayor who's a piece of shit, and either a prosecutor or chief of police, I forget who it was. They already went online and did a thing on Netflix, and there was like a thing about Luigi Mangione, and apparently they're like they had somebody impersonating him, and they were telling what evidence they have, and Luigi's lawyer is like, I don't have any of that information. So the fact that you could put it on Netflix, but you can't tell us, fucking weird, right? That's against the law. So I think
when there's old ties to old Pelosi, there's ties there. Through the uncle or some shit like that, or I don't know, but it's just weird. It's just weird out of nowhere.
Well, listen, as well.
Like who was the chick who got stabbed up in California? The fire chief. She got unalived, and then there's leaked out. Did you hear the fucking the phone call from the mayor?
No.
Talking about, pretty much she got told to go on vacation, and if she gets told to go on vacation longer, she's gonna stay longer.
And so they've officially fired the fire chief in Los Angeles, and now it's a dude, and it's like an old curmudgeonly white dude who is top tier firefighter. But also too, one other thing that we didn't cover, I'm not sure if you want to hit it up now or we do it next week or whatever. Was Diddy's lawyer was like, I quit.
Oh, yeah,
I can't live with myself being involved with this. And you're like, bro, do you know how that guy defended Osama bin Laden?
I mean, you ain't wrong.
Like, okay, listen. Okay, like, look, we both have had dodgy friends in the past, no question. Okay, and that's and you know what? Dodgy friends are some of the best friends. But if a lawyer, and remember, a lawyer's job is to live inside a moral cube. Okay, so their morals are only in their cube. Everywhere else is unmoral. It's not tainted with morals. Okay, so this man defended it's the United States government versus Osama bin Laden, and this guy defended Osama bin Laden because everyone has a right to a defense. But when he find out more about Diddy, he's like, "Oh no!" And like that's
let's take morals out of it. You know how much money that man was making, especially if he got Diddy out of it. Do you know how famous that motherfucker would be?
Oh, he'd be like fucking who's the glove guy? What's his face? Yeah, he'd be the new Johnny Cochran for sure.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think you want to be the new Johnny Cochran, bro. Not in the times we're going into. You don't want to be Johnny Cochran because it's
that baby oil is on your hands.
Listen, it was in I think it was Star Trek: The Next Generation. They explained there was a time in history where they got rid of all the lawyers because the lawyers got the same punishment as their client. And you're going, so that's interesting because there's a very good remember, even the fucking Matrix movie predicted that it was the peak of humanity. The year was 1999 and we found AI and everything immediately went to dog shit. And now we have robots that are not just Skynet. They look like the motorcycles from fucking Terminator. Do you remember when there was 2 motorcycles? That's from fucking Transformers in 1986. Remember, there was the guys who were the motorcycles and then they would change. So one guy was on top and then they would switch and you're going, bro, we are living in end times and I'm for it. I want one of them motorcycles that turns into a robot.
I want one of the drones that drop the dogs.
Oh, I feel like there's going to be a very quick time where you're going to be able to have your drone walk your dog. You just attach the leash, and if anything happens, like it'll just pick the dog up and bring it home, which that's awesome.
Which is going to be bad because you get a late model or a used one, it's just going to rip the dog's head off. I brought the dog.
Science takes time. What are you going to do? I brought your doggy in pieces. You're like, oh no, that's
the robots was predicted back in Rocky.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Polly.
Do you remember?
And then like they show an episode afterward, and she looked like the fucking robot from Jetsons, just all disheveled and fucking like this hat. Polly was fucking her.
Oh, bro. And he's like, "Oh, Polly, I love you." And he's like, "I don't know what to do. It loved me." And you're like, "That's some fucked up shit, bro." But I get it. Hey,
There's a problem, Polly. The plug is all gummed up. What the hell?
I mean, you should see the input port. It's much worse. Telling you, this is by far the wildest time that we're living in. And you know what? I'm all for it. I'm all for it, bro.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
So, we got what we got tonight.
Let me pull it up here. The quote that we are discussing is, "Why fight when we can negotiate?" Courtesy of Captain Jack Sparrow. It is going to be at 8 p.m. tonight. And we are going to discuss the fact that, well, listen, we've all, and when I say we, I mean you, myself, and Cole, have all been in situations that require a physical component, let's call it. And anyone who has been in a conversation that involved a physical component can tell you that, hey, it's better to try and talk first because everyone gets hurt. It's just, hey,
we've all been in them situations where negotiations break down, but it's always better to try to,
that's
not get to that point.
Of course not. So what we're going to be discussing, because listen, remember last week we even discussed how sometimes violence is a solution, which is very viable. And look, that's the last straw, right? And so we're going to be discussing that tonight at 8.
Yep. So come and check us out.
Awesome.
That being said, it's been motherfucking Monday with your weekend wrap up. I'm sure we forgot a few things and added some shit you didn't want to hear, but fuck it, it's our show. So we'll see you tonight.
Wicked. Have a good one, everyone.
Yep.
So what the fuck? What the fuck? Yeah. So what the fuck? What the fuck?